Okay, so we are on our way to Robben Island. Robben Island! Woo!
Called deers were then met by these warders. They were all white, putting up guns, saying, yes, Alfred, you. You're going to die here. So when I first came, I was scared. But you guys were brave to just volunteer to come to this place. Please follow me, folks. It is the photo of their former political prisoners. These are the very last prisoners to leave this prison. Here, prisoners were very happy to be free. I would like to say something about this gentleman. His name is James Mange. What is special about him is that he is coming from the death row, from the condemned cell, because he was initially sentenced to death by hanging for fighting apartheid. The gentleman spent 2 years in the death row before his sentence was then reduced to life imprisonment during the campaigns of the Amnesty International. He was in that section, F section. When you look around here, there are 5 towers. That is the first tower. And this is the second tower. The third one up there, 2 towers in that direction. All those towers were always manned by heavily armed sentries who were given instruction to shoot to kill. Right round this prison, you see this fence. It is not an ordinary fence, but a double fence in between what is confined their dogs. That was another measure of making a point that prisoners do not escape from this place. Besides, as a prisoner, it was not easy to swim your way to Cape Town. That's why from 1964 up to 1991, not even a single prisoner managed to escape from this place. So from here, we'll be going straight to G section. From G section to F section, then from F section to C section. Please, let's proceed to G section. Okay, we talk about the escapes. I said to you, on this island, from 1964 up to 1991, not even a single prisoner minute to escape from this place. When we talk about oppression in this country, we first talk about that period of colonialism. Then from 1948 up to 1994, talk about that period of apartheid. Long before the advent of apartheid, some African chiefs who dared to challenge the colonizers, some of them, I used to term banish here, not imprisoned here. There's a difference because they were allowed to come here with their wives, also allowed to move around this place. But when we're here, when we move around this place, we're always escorted by warders with their dogs. So the first person to manage to escape from this place is Chief Otomato, the Khoi leader, who stole on the boat and managed to escape. The second person to escape here, it was David Stearman, the Khoi leader, who fought against the colonizer. That's why he was banished here on this island. And he managed to escape. And the last person that didn't escape, it was Chief Magana, the Xhosa warrior and the prophet, who fought against the colonizer. That's why he was banished here on this island. He attempted to escape by making a makeshift boat. But unfortunately, his boat capsized when trying to escape. But from 1964 up to 1991, not even a single prisoner managed to escape from this place. I'm making myself clear. Do you understand?
Yes.
Are you happy? On this island, there are 3 prisons. The third prison here is called the Old Drop, or the old prison. It's down there behind those trees, but considered from here. In that prison, the common law prisoners, or the criminals, and the political prisoners were there together, and life was very tough then. If you can imagine finding yourself in the midst of those people. You know what apartheid regime did was to go out of its way and recruit those hardcore criminals from different prisons on the mainland to come to us political prisoners in the Old Drop. By so doing, they were trying to destroy their spirit. But fortunately, political prisoners, they then started to conscientize and publicize the criminals and managed to recruit few of them. But the authorities were not happy because political prisoners were recruiting right inside that prison. As a result, later, prisoners were then separated. This was built in 1963 and completed in 1964. It took them the whole year to build this place. This was built by the help of prisoners from the Old Drop. Those working in those quarries, crushing stones, because at times they'll be extracting stones, the blue stones. Like we say, those black stones, we call them blue stones. They are from the blue stone quarry down there. The last prison. You're going to see that prison on your tour around this island. It is, we call it medium B prison. That was for criminals. It is still convict prison. In this prison, there are 2 types of sections. There are single cell sections. That is 1 person per cell. And there are also communal cells in these bigger cells. But let's talk about the single cell sections. Section A, B, and C are single cell sections. Section A, that section was used as an observation section. B section, another single cell section, that's where all our leaders were confined. Section C is also a single cell section. That section was used as a punishment section for those prisoners who were found to be violating prison regulations. But these other sections, section D, E, F, and G, are communal cells, section bigger cells. On Saturdays here in this prison, get a chance of playing sport in this place. We'll play rugby, soccer, as well as tennis. On Sundays, we're not working. Get a chance to wash our prison clothes. Please follow me, good people. We are now in G section, the communal cell section. used to refer to this section as an old age home. Oh, that's where older folks were kept. Those were serving longer sentences, like 22 years, 25 years, 30 years, life sentences. They were here in this place. So that you might know we're here in this place is that Minister of Justice, Mr. Jeff Hate was also here in this place. The retired judge, Mr. Dikgang Moseneke, he was also in this section. He first came here when he was only 15 years of age. That's why he studied here in this prison and finished his matric here. And then later studied towards his law degree and then finished outside. He went on to become a lawyer and then in the New South Africa became a judge. Now he has retired. Idris Naidu was also here in this section. The then president of this country, Mr. Jacob Zuma, was also here in this section. Mr. Idris Naidu came here in 1963. And Mr. Jacob Zuma came here also in 1963. The Pan-Africanist Congress Oriented Group, UPOC, they came here as early as 1962. Any question there? Because I do have a question. If this was built in 1963 and completed in 1964, yeah, there were people who were already here on this island in 1963, 62. Where were they kept?
Please let us know.
Yeah?
We have no idea.
You guys owe me straight twice too. Because I said to the old drunk.
Oh.
Yeah, so you owe me straight twice too. If you talk to people like Mr. Idris Naidu and Mr. Jacob Zuma and all those who came here before 1964, who were there in the old drunk. Like Nelson Mandela was also there in the old drunk. Remember, he was first charged with skipping the country illegally and then sentenced to 5 years. And then he was taken to this place for 2 weeks. Then after that, it transpired that in the Rwanda trial was also implicated. And then he was taken from this place to face the trial. Then he came here, the stroke 64. So those people, when you talk to them, they'll tell you that in the old drunk it was tough. You know, when I was in this place, I was here in this prison. Here we could organize ourselves into political classes, political discussions. But in the old drunk it was tough when we talk to those people. Because to them it was a question of survival. They will try to organize themselves in the political classes, but the warders, and most importantly, notoriously the criminals, will spy on them and will help them to beat those political prisoners who were there in the old drunk. Just like they did in the quarries. They're going to tell you the story of the quarries, what they did together with the criminals. So it was tough for them. They couldn't survive. So there was no organizing themselves in the political classes. They were trying to survive. And when they told the stories there, it was something else. Let's get inside, please.
I know Zuma was here.
We thank you for taking your time and visit. Remember, you are free to take photo of this place. And you are also free to ask questions. In this prison, we are allowed to listen to music on this speakers here, intercom system. And at times, we are allowed to listen to recorded music. When I was in this prison, I was very much opposed to this ideal classification. As you might know that, even United Nations proclaimed to the world that apartheid was a crime against humanity. So why they to say they classify me? I was here fighting apartheid. They were here perpetrating apartheid. I also reject classification. From 1984 up to 1988, I would reject classification. building here, this was our main hall. All the activities were done here in this hall. Even at times you find that when hunger strikes, then those people from outside come and address us here on this hall here. And this hall was also used for multi-purpose purposes, in the sense that when you write exams here, right here on this hall here, many things will take place in this hall here. Please follow me. They write it, you know the artist. This is D section. D section. You should refer to this section as a Namibian section. So that's where Swapo from Namibia were confined. They left his prison in 1985 back to Namibia. But Andimba, Toy Boyatoy, the leader of Swapo, was not in this section with these people. But he was in B section with other leaders like Mr. Nelson Mandela. Please, let's get it right. And we are in F section, the communal cell section. It is consists of 4 communal cells: the first cell, the second cell, the third cell, and the last cell. This was used as an office of the section warden, the section guard. We thank you for taking your time and visit. Remember, you are free to take photo of this place, and you are also free to ask questions. This is the main entrance of this prison. When I first came here in this prison, that's where I made my entrance. When I left this place in 1991, that's where I made my exit. When Mr. Mandela first came here in this prison in 1964, that's where he made his entrance. When I left this place in 1982 to Paulsmoor prison, that's where he made his exit. When I was in this prison, this door was always locked and heavily guarded. On my right hand side, you see administration offices trying to find the head of prison. On my left hand side, you see the armory, so what to store their arms and ammunition. When I first came here in this prison, down there the harbor escorted by warders. One of the warders who were escorting us would then come and bang this door when I touch it in this fashion. I'll show you. Like that, then one of the warders from inside would then come and peep into this peephole. You see those who have banged the door outside. And then I was inside the prison. When I first came here in this prison, I was then escorted to this office called reception office. We are now in B section, the single cell section, 1 person per cell. That's where all our leaders were confined. This is the photo of this place, B section courtyard. Here prisoners were crushing stones during that period of hard labor. This place was known as the place of work. They beat this Constitutional Court in 1973. This is Mr. Nelson Mandela and his great mentor, great confidant, Walter Sisulu. Mr. Walter Sisulu is senior to Mr. Nelson Mandela. In fact, he is the one who then recruited him to join the ANC Youth League in the early 40s, when he was still coming from the Eastern Cape to Johannesburg, the boat league. From the flagpole downwards, used to be the guardian of Mr. Nelson Mandela. That's where the manuscript was found buried. Fortunately, that manuscript, it was the second manuscript, but the first manuscript was already smuggled out of this prison with the sense of a white lawyer. When Mr. Mac Maharaj was released in this prison in 1976, he then transported that manuscript to London, where it was printed and published, as when the book titled Long Walk to Freedom by Mr. Nelson Mandela. But why the book was published in London? Remember, here were pen organizations, couldn't publish at home. But why in London? Because London had a very strong anti-apartheid movement. But why a white lawyer was used to smuggle out the manuscript? You know, in this prison, we're allowed to have visits. We had two types of visits. We had your usual social visit, visited by relatives, friends or parents, and we had legal visits, visited by lawyers. Always go for legal visits. And they will target white lawyers in particular. But why white lawyers? Because down there at the visitor center, when the guards will be searching the lawyers, only such black lawyers, colored lawyers, Indian lawyers, but not white lawyers. So they're exploited. It's like this long walk to freedom. From left to right, the fourth window is the style of Mr. Nelson Mandela. This is the style of Mr. Nelson Mandela. You may then take time to take some photos. You give us a chance and take your time.
This is where Mr.
His prison number is 69/64. What it means? It means that Mr. Pilinaya was prisoner number 69 to be imprisoned in this place in the year 1964.